Today on Florida Sportsman Best Boat. If you're looking for a boat that offers a smooth ride, skinny water performance, and plenty of fishing room, we'll be taking a look at the Young Gulfshore 22, a bay boat with an overall length of 22 feet 3 inches, a beam of 8 feet, and max horsepower rating of 250. Standout features on the Young Gulfshore 22. A raised helm gives the captain the advantage of being able to see farther when both navigating and searching for fish. Copious amounts of underdeck storage located throughout the boat allow for plenty of gear to be stored safely and out of the way. A boat with an efficient hull design will translate to a better ride, better hull shot, and better gas mileage. If you're looking for a boat that provides plenty of comfort and a versatile platform for fishing, we'll be taking a look at the Sea Chaser 23 LX. A center console with an overall length of 24 feet, a beam of 8 feet 7 inches, and max horsepower rating of 250. Standout features on the Sea Chaser 23 LX. A recessed casting platform provides a perfect area to fish while giving anglers the extra security of a step up. If you plan on using your console for its amenities or storage, easy console access is key and will be appreciated. Having a large bilge access makes maintaining pumps and systems a breeze and much more comfortable while doing so. If you're looking for the features of a sport fish boat, but in a more manageable center console package, you'll want to see the Jupiter 43 SF, a center console with an overall length of 43 feet 1 inch, a beam of 12 feet 6 inches, and max horsepower rating of 1400. Standout features on the Jupiter 43 SF. An elevated helm gives the captain the advantage of 360-degree visibility while being able to stay close to the action. Amenities such as a galley, lounge, or shower would only be possible by having a full cabin. A spacious bow layout provides plenty of space for fishing while offering space for people and storage. Join our hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles as they conduct walkthroughs and review key features, all to help you decide if this is the best boat for you.
Welcome and thanks for joining us for another quality episode of Florida Sportsman Best Boat. I'm Florida Sportsman boating editor George Labonte.
And I'm Captain Rick Riles. And George, we got 3 home dingers for you this week, buddy. We're going to start it with the Young Gulfshore 22, move to the Sea Chaser 23 LX, and then a boat that big boat dreams are made of, the Jupiter 43. But let me start with that Young Gulfshore 22. It has what's called a riser, George. Man, does that give you a big advantage when you're up in shallow water.
This is getting to be a real popular thing in bay type boats, but they've been doing it for a long time. Very cool boat. Can't wait to get started with that one. How about the Sea Chaser? They're 23 LX. Now this boat right here, this is a boat made by Carolina Skiff, Sea Chaser. And when you think about Carolina Skiff, you think about kind of utility type of boats, but the Sea Chaser line, it's a lot more finished, and this is actually a bay boat design, which is very cool and unique. And one of the things that's really cool about it is they also take a lot of the guesswork out of it. They send this boat to you ready to hit the water.
Outstanding, and boy, talk about ready to hit the water. That Jupiter 43 is ready to make dreams come true. Picture everything you ever wanted in a luxury yacht, going 65 miles an hour, eating up the ocean, all right? When the waves hit it, it hits right back. That is a stable, big-time fishing platform.
Okay, brother, we got a lot to get to. Why don't we take a quick break and we'll get right to it when we come back from these words.
When we come back, hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles take a closer look at a bay boat designed to provide fun for the entire family, the Young Gulfshore 22.
This segment brought to you by Infinity by Harman. It's all about the music.
Hey Dad, can we do that again tomorrow?
Don't forget your sunscreen.
Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Join our hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles as they take a closer look at the Young Gulfshore 22. Representing the 17 to 24 foot class in the bay boat category, the Young Gulfshore 22 has an overall length of 22 feet 3 inches. a beam of 8 feet, and a max horsepower rating of 250. Designed to float shallow and run over open water, she has a draft of 11 inches, a dead rise of 12 degrees, a dry weight of 1,300 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 53 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts, George Labonte and Rick Riles.
Cap, in all these years of doing the show, all boats are fun. But aren't some boats more fun than others?
Absolutely, Rick.
I tell you what, we're on a fun one today. I got to ride it early this morning. Running a Young Gulfshore 22 is a kick. It's a shot of adrenaline all its own.
Absolutely. You know what a big fan I am of this style of boats, and we don't see too many of them. It's just so smart in so many ways. It offers a lot of advantages, and the first thing you think of is the height advantage and the visibility, but it goes so much deeper than that.
I wondered if it was too narrow for an elevated platform like that. George, it's not at all, okay? It's 8 feet wide, and we were offshore running today. The truth is, you're not nearly as tipsy up in that elevated helm as you think you'd be, okay? We talk about hole shot a lot and how a boat does with hole shot. This boat has almost none. It goes from running slowly flat to running very fast flat without rising like that. That's because of a 13-degree dead rise, which also makes it a lot more stable when you're running from that higher platform. Well, let's start looking around because there's a lot more features than just that raised helm. That opens up a whole new world of storage for you too. Let's take a look.
You bet. Let's start right here. All right, I want to talk about deck space and storage that's created by it. All right, this is a really nice sized platform to stand on and fish out of up here. You know, but look at the size of that hatch in front of you right there. So much storage inside there. There's room for the 3 batteries to run this trolling motor in there, but so much extra room on top of that, and that's not all of it. There's a bunch of storage boxes on this boat.
Let me tell you something that speaks about construction too, George. I love standing on a big box like this, a big box type. You know what you hear? Nothing, okay? There's no sag, there's no creaking, there's none of that. That's when you know a hatch is built the way it should be. I love everything about this area up here. All right, Cap, let's walk toward the back. There's something here I really want to show you.
Let's go see the star of the show here. All right, man, you're taller than me finally. How's the view up there?
Let me tell you how good it is. Hey, you know our buddy Ramsey that's way out there on that point fly fishing?
Yeah.
Don't say anything, but there ain't no fish out there.
You know, some people call this a riser, some people call it a tower. It doesn't matter what you call it, there's a lot going on up here. Let's start with where you're standing. I mean, everything within arm's reach, you've got rod holders all around you.
George, I've not only got rod holders all around me, all right? Here's my Simrad, I can read the bottom. I can deploy my motor, I can deploy my power poles, I can do my trim and tilt, I can raise the motor on a jack plate, I can run every system on this boat from right here in this little pod.
We're using every square inch of this area. You think that this thing's gonna take up a lot of room and clog up the boat? It's not. They put a backrest into the tubing here, got a cooler seat with a cushion on it, cool, all right? You got a big box, the riser part of the thing, the framework underneath this fiberglass box, and then another storage box behind that. In the back, you've got a tackle center, store fishing tackle in it, every inch of the thing useful. Now, they've also incorporated a really effective use of space in the back on this rear casting platform. Actually, I was gonna say, let's move back. I'm gonna move back. I don't wanna move you off your high horse. You stay right where you're at.
I'm staying up here, I love it.
Let's talk about this rear casting deck, man. I mean, it starts right here. This seat right here across the back, if this was the only storage area on the whole boat, there'd be more than enough storage for a boat this size underneath there. This backrest removable, fold that thing up. Well, that one easily fits inside that space and doesn't take up any space in there doing it, all right? Underneath my feet right here, 2 really nice 30-gallon live wells, one right here on the port side, one in the center. There's another box right here that's got a lift-out tray that you can fill with stuff, pull it out of there if you need to, and underneath there, you've got access to your through-hull fittings and more storage.
George, the Young Gulfshore 22, she's 22 feet long, she's 8 feet wide. Every single inch has been used functionally. There's an awful lot to love if you're an all-around fisherman that is serious about his game.
When we return, hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles check out a well-appointed general-purpose boat ready to fish and cruise in comfort, the Sea Chaser 23. This segment brought to you by Yamaha. Reliability starts here.
An entirely new species of extreme predator is moving offshore. The Yamaha 5.6-liter V8 XTO offshore outboard. Extreme big block thrust and power in the industry's first direct injection 4-stroke. Quiet, efficient, powerful, and proven Yamaha reliability. More than an outboard, it's a fully integrated power system. The all-new Yamaha V8 XTO Offshore.
Back to Florida's Sportsman Best Boat. Join us as Rick and George discuss the reliability of the Suzuki 350.
Anytime you bring new technology to market, and bear in mind this contra-rotating two-prop system is not new technology, just new to outboards, all right? The Suzuki engineers spent 3 years working on this project before they brought it to market, all right? They did their due diligence. We're not beta testing a product by our consumers using it and breaking it. People expected the thing to break. Everybody wants to be negative about it. 12 months later, one little service bulletin about a fuel issue that's idle speed stalling because of an EPA compliant vent in your fuel tank, which is a boat issue, not the motor issue, and that's easily fixed. That's not a lot to complain about. I mean, you'd expect a lot more. It looks for sure like all the homework that they did for those 3 years has paid off. This motor's a winner.
I know one thing, every one of these Suzuki DF350s we've put our hands on has delivered everything they've promised and more.
Now, let's take a closer look at the Sea Chaser 23. Representing the bay boat category, the Sea Chaser has an overall length of 24 feet, a beam of 8 feet 7 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 250. Built as an all-around fishing boat, she has a draft of 12 inches, a dead rise of 14 degrees, a dry weight of 2,450 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 85 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts, George Labonte and Rick Riles.
Rick, we're standing here today on the Sea Chaser 23LX. Now, Sea Chaser boats actually flies underneath the Carolina skiff flag, but this boat bears no resemblance to any Carolina skiff I've ever been on.
This boat, when you want to be comfortable in a big lake, and inshore and offshore. You look good running offshore today.
The boat handled offshore very well. Actually impressed me, you know, in that 2 to 3 foot kind of sloppy chop we ran in today, this boat was eating it up, man. I would have no problem bringing this boat offshore on a day like today.
A boat like this, and this one in particular, comes so pre-rigged that you can literally fish it the day you get it.
And, you know, maybe somebody that just doesn't have a great deal of experience with boats yet, but wants to really jump in and be serious about it, you know, taking those decisions out of their hands and letting them just worry about going fishing is a great way to start out in boating.
Quit worrying about which transducer you want. Let Carolina Skiff do it for you, is what you're saying.
You bet. Hey, this is a feature-heavy little bay boat, man. Why don't we take a look at some of those features? Let's get started right here.
Cap, welcome to the refinement of the casting platform. We've seen them too high, we've seen them too low. This one is just right. And you know something else I like about this casting platform? Of course, I like to step up, and I'm really getting attached to these rails. You know your kids are going to want to sit up here.
Rick, as a fishing platform, this is a great size space right here. I mean, this area is plenty big enough for 2 people to fish. The boat comes pre-wired for a trolling motor, which you're definitely going to want to have on a boat like this. And you've got 2 big fish box rod lockers here, 1 on each side. You've got an anchor locker underneath your feet there. Another nice size storage compartment right here. Another storage compartment in the step. And then moving back to the console, there's something really unique going on here.
Cap, we've gone back and forth 100 times. Is it better to enter the console from the front or from the side? Well, Sea Chaser figured it out in spades. Either one. Okay, it's got a front opening and a side opening to the console. You come in that front opening, there's a privacy curtain that comes around. Now, it's not unusual for us to see a head on a 23-foot boat. It is unusual to see one the size of that one once you expand it with a privacy curtain.
Very clever. Now, Rick, they've also worked some style elements into this boat, which are pretty cool for a 23-foot bay boat. Why don't we move underneath this hardtop and get in the shade for a second and talk about it?
Hey, hold up just a second before you get all into your style. All right, here's something I'm surprised more small boat builders don't do. This windshield removes, okay? Now think about that. First off, on a hot, calm day, I don't want it anyway. Hey, think about this. Now, trailering down the highway, this is gonna get stashed. No more cleaning love bugs off of here. It just makes sense. It pops on and off of the wing nut.
But they also dressed up this hardtop too. Adding the black powder coat finish is really nice. Kind of makes the boat look a little bit sexier. And you've got the matching rocket launcher leaning post here with nice upholstery, rod holders. Got rod holders up on top there. You know, dress the boat up. People really want something that's not just a functional boat. They want something that looks cool. This looks cool. Let's move back here. We got a casting platform back here with more seating, live well, a bunch of stuff. Let's have a look at it.
Cap, let me tell you about one of the best things ever happened to bay boats. You ever think about how much more versatile this area is because of these jump seats?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's a great place to have an extra place to put people, riders, and fold down out of the way when you want to stand up here and fish. That entire seat flips up, much like the front of the console, and opens up the entire bilge basically. I mean, you can sit there with your legs inside of it and work on all your pumps and everything right there underneath that spot. Really big. You've got a live well right there in front of you, access to your batteries underneath me, and another access point right there where you can store things as well. More importantly, Rick, let's not overlook what this actually was meant to be. This is another place to fish from. I mean, the elevated casting platform from back here just adds room for an extra angler or two.
If you want a 23-foot boat that is ready to go from the showroom to the water to go fishing, okay, the Sea Chaser 23LX is one you certainly want to look at. It is ready to go when you're ready to hit the water.
When we come back, hosts George Labonte and Rick Riles check out a large center console with an abundance of sport fish qualities, the Jupiter 43 SF. This segment brought to you by Engel, the best performance coolers on the market.
Wake up early on your days off. Go on an adventure. Get out on the water. Here at Engel, we live for these days. We think you should spend more time in nature. Let us help you enjoy it. For those that care about quality, who want to get out into the world with a confidence that their gear is going to stand up to the day's challenges, Engel coolers are built for you.
Welcome back to Florida Sportsman Best Boat. Join our hosts Rick Riles and George Labonte as they check out the Jupiter 43 SF. Representing the 31 to 53 foot class in the center console category, the Jupiter 43 SF has an overall length of 43 feet 1 inch, a beam of 12 feet 6 inches, and a max horsepower rating of 1,400. Designed with a heavy sport fishing influence, she has a draft of 27 inches, a dead rise of 24 degrees, a dry weight of 18,175 pounds, and a fuel capacity of 602 gallons. Now, let's hear more from our hosts, George Labonte and Rick Riles.
Imagine a scenario here where a big luxury sport fishing boat meets a really sporty center console boat in the middle of the road. What do you come up with in that scenario?
I think you come up with a Jupiter 43 SF.
Exactly right. There's nothing middle of the road about this boat, but that is exactly what we're standing on.
I think what happened is these guys with these big sport fish boats all of a sudden got so tired of watching these guys go by them at 60 miles an hour, just as comfortable as they were, with more fishability than they had. I said, wait a minute, you know what? That's not a bad idea. And they made the boat the perfect blend, like you said, of a sport fish versus a big center console.
There's lots to look at. Why don't we start looking right here? Underneath the decks where we're standing right here, there's no limit for what you can put underneath it, okay? In the center hatch right here, we've got a Seakeeper on this boat, which is a big boat feature. Gyro stabilizers, very common on big boats nowadays, becoming more common on center console boats. They take up a lot of room. This boat's got one and a diesel generator under the deck. You think that might eat up all the deck space? There's two 420-quart insulated fish boxes on either side of the cockpit here, along with a giant access point to the bilge right here in the center. You know, another thing that's a callback to a big sport fish boat, the mezzanine seating. It is very comfortable, you know, both trolling and underway when you're cruising along at cruising speed. Super comfortable. It's got just the right rate of recline to sit in. Very nice. Additionally, you know, big boat features. How about a 90-gallon live well right here underneath this very comfortable seat? You've got two giant dive doors, not one, two, one on each side of the boat. I got mine over here. You've got yours over there, so you stay on your side. You ready to move up and take a look at the sport fish size helm station?
Let's go.
Let's go.
Cap, has anybody made you feel more like you were back on the fly bridge of an older traditional sport fish than Jupiter has?
A new modern traditional big sport fish, absolutely. You know, this is a single level deck all the way around for that 360 walk around, but they've raised up this helm area. You can see so perfectly out of 180 degrees in front of you. It gets you out of the weather. This is the perfect design for a boat like this, I'm convinced. Take a look at this helm. 3 22-inch displays. I mean, that's big boat technology right there. This boat's got the Yamaha Helmmaster controls. It's also got a bow thruster. That's all right under here. You know, another thing, they fit everything away. It's all just clean, neat looking. I like it. Air-conditioned cabin. How about air-conditioned helm? Having that cold air blowing on you all day behind this glass. I'm actually cool. When I stepped out in the cockpit, I forgot it was summertime out here. Very nice. Now, before we leave here, this seating right here is special. Release Marine builds this 3-across seat. It's one piece. This whole seat is beautiful varnished wood with the ladder back. Very comfortable for 3. I feel like I'm on a 70-foot bridge boat right here. Rick, before we move up to the bow, let's go inside this cabin and cool off for just a minute, some of that air conditioning.
George, in a whole lifetime full of sport fishing, I've never gone down below and taken a nap while the lines were in the water. I might do it on this boat. It feels really good down here.
Yeah, you could get used to this air conditioning for sure. You know, like I said, this isn't a cabin where you're going to have 6 people spending the weekend in the Bahamas on, but definitely nice to get out of the weather. I mean, on a hot summer day to get in this air, beautiful. And you know, there's some creature comforts. I mean, you can flip this down and lay down here and take a nap. You've got an enclosed head there with a shower. There's a cedar-lined closet right here. I mean, a microwave. Really classy. I mean, it's just a really nicely finished little place just to get out of the heat, get out of the rain, or send the kids down for a nap, whatever. Really, really cool. We had to come down here. As much as I'd love to stay here and chill with you for the rest of the day, we got a lot more boat to look at. Let's go back upstairs.
George, come up here a minute and look back. You really get a grasp of the enormity of this boat. This is a big boat, buddy.
Yeah, it's a long way back there, absolutely. I mean, look at the size of this bow.
Yeah, you're not kidding. Look at the amount of fishing room and the advantage all this being open up here gives you.
Yeah, not just room to fish. I mean, there's room to put people and room to put things too. You know, look at the size of that lounge right there. The seating also offers 192-quart insulated boxes on either side. How's that for it? If that's not enough, you got some storage up here too, Rick. 680 quarts of dry storage in the middle of the deck. I mean, lots of real estate, big boat features because you've got big boat real estate.
Let me tell you what that guy coming off that 90-foot luxury sport yacht won't do. He won't settle for less than the best of everything. You understand what I'm saying? He may bring the size down, but he wants the boat from bow to stern to be built a certain way that's just right. Let me tell you, I've been trying to think up a term that describes the Jupiter 43 SF to me the best. I think it would have to be no compromises.
All right, if you want any more information about the boats you saw today or any boats you see on Florida Sportsman Best Boat, go to floridasportsman.com.
And we'll see you next week on another episode of Florida Sportsman Best Boat.
When filming for Florida Sportsman Best Boat, the cast and crew docked and dined at Pirates Cove Marina in Stuart, Florida. Family owned and operated, featuring 50 renovated rooms with an outstanding restaurant and a full-service 50-slip marina.